Libya, sounding optimistic now that coalition airstrikes will help them retake that key city.
This is a matter of time. Time only. After maybe 1 day or less than 1 day, these tanks will surrender. That's what we hope.
Our senior correspondent Rick Leventhal reported earlier on the Ajdabiya battles from the nearby city of Benghazi.
We've heard about yet another round of shelling coming from tanks and Libyan soldiers in the city and north of the city on rebel fighters gathered in the desert. The fighters continue to probe and those Libyan army troops continue to return fire. We've heard about a number of dead and a number of wounded in the past couple of days in those fights down in Ajdabiya.
And just hours ago, the Al Arabiya satellite news channel reported that Colonel Gaddafi's tanks have again taken up positions in the eastern and western edges of Ajdabiya after coalition airstrikes apparently drove them away. The Fox Reports chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt's in our New York newsroom now. Still something of a standoff there in Ajdabiya, right?
Certainly seems that way, Shep, and according to some of those who have fled the fighting in that city, the rebels still hold the very center of it, but they're pretty much surrounded by Gaddafi's forces in the outskirts trying to move towards them in the center, and apparently the center of that city has been heavily shelled. One person who fled the fighting there said that it was in effect destroyed. Now, the rebels have said, Shep, that they have been helped by the coalition airstrikes, but it seems at this moment that they still lack the organization and, more importantly, the firepower to rout the Gaddafi's forces. Gaddafi's forces, on the other hand, seem to lack perhaps the motivation to finish the job and take out the rebels in the center of that city.
They may lack some organization on the battlefield, but it appears they're getting more organized politically, Jonathan.
Yeah, they're certainly trying to. Remember, they organized this interim national council, as they called it, several weeks ago. Well, now they're trying to set up what they're calling a shadow government in waiting if and when Gaddafi falls. That government is going to be headed by a man called Mahmoud Jibril. He has been at the center of the rebels' negotiations with the coalitions, traveling to meet European Union officials in Brussels and meeting French President Nicolas Sarkozy in France, in Paris, just a couple of weeks ago. So he's the man that they are saying will be the de facto leader of Libya if and when Gaddafi is forced out or indeed is killed.
Jonathan Hunt for us. Jonathan, thanks. In Japan tonight, there's apparently been another setback.